What's up, Flip Squad Virgin Gang? I woke up like this, is just how I'm going to do the video. Woke up like maybe 30 minutes ago, got to go to work in a little bit, going to try to put out this video for you. So, yesterday's video, smashing success, thank you everybody, and I'm glad I was able to spread awareness of all the bullshit that was happening over there. I really do appreciate that. The big thing that I want to take away before I move on to the next video is that video, there was a couple things in there where there was two events going on, one in Baltimore and one in Ocala, excuse me. Like, a lot of people told me I was saying the name of the city wrong, my fucking bad. Ocala. Apparently, that was the place where Mitsuhiro Arita was, over in Florida, which I knew. And I knew regionals was happening in Baltimore, just the information coming both at the same time. It was getting all jumbled, and I had a brain fart right there. Saito is over all the way in Baltimore. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. We'll get into that, but that was one of the big things. Two events happened, though. Two events happened, and they almost mimicked each other. They almost mirrored each other to the point where I was so fucking confused what was happening where. If someone didn't say who the artist was, or I didn't see the actual artist there, it was kind of like, what the hell? Which event is this happening at? That's how crazy it was, and that's why there was so much confusion online and on Instagram and all the different stories. People being like, no, this didn't happen here, and some people being like, no, this didn't happen here. Well, that's because that's true. There was two separate events happening where bullshit occurred on both fronts, so that's immediately right there. By the way, there was some clarification about Arita getting followed back to his hotel. Apparently, they followed his car. They went in their car, followed the guy, hid in the bushes like a bunch of actual hamburglers, like a bunch of little degenerates, and then jumped out at him, surprised him, gave him a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare, and was like, hey, you mind signing some of our stuff? Like, who does that? Who actually does that? Once again, if that was you, what I said last video pertains, go fuck yourself. So we're going to talk about what happened in Baltimore, because yesterday's video was all about the actual Mitsuhiro Arita Florida signing. I'm going to go ahead and get into what happened that. So that's where a lot of the actual influencers were, and that's where a good bit of the communication was from. So it was the exact same thing. They were lining up. They were actually outside getting ready to go do that stuff. They had VIP passes as well. I guess they had VIP at both of them. That's kind of what like made the whole thing kind of weird to track. A lot of stuff was happening. Same kind of stuff was. This might be a little bit of a shorter video. The same stuff was happening at both places. Line cutting, VIPs being abused, the vouchers being abused, people having to call people out for this stuff. This one was not being manned by Pokemon, I don't believe. I believe this one was actually being managed by the actual staff of the event venue they were at, because that's what everybody's saying, that the event staff. I have a little bit more to go on that later. We'll talk about that, but that was not done by Pokemon. Pokemon, I don't think, was sanctioning this. If Saito wanted to do whatever he wanted to draw stuff, I believe he could. It was still heavily recommended to do personalized, autographs and stuff like that too, from what everybody said. But a lot of people just straight up went around that stuff and did trainer, collector, all that stuff. By the way, there was a lot of people that got in my comment section and said, no, we don't want shorter signatures to sell that stuff. We don't want that. That's not what the majority of us want. The majority of us like the cleaner, nicer cut signatures that just look good to sell. Yeah, well, unfortunately, you may like that, but look what happened on eBay. Look, just straight up. There's people doing exactly what I said they were going to do. Didn't even take a fucking day. Didn't even take one day. In fact, some of the listings that are on there, they have Charizard, a Celebrations Charizard, which someone in my comment section talked about one. I wonder if this is you. I don't really fucking care. But to, just solidify what actually happened, the next slide, you slide over, well, bam. Picture of Mitsuhiro Arita himself, just to be like, yeah, I was there, motherfucker. I got my dick on the table and he signed that stuff. So people are doing exactly what I said. There's more instances of people getting Pokemon names instead of actually getting it personalized to them. There are some people that did it, though. There are some people that got it personalized. And I do understand that some people just want it signed by Mitsuhiro Arita. They don't want any kind of personalization. They just want the man's signature and that's it. And to some degree, I understand that. But that's not the way the event was supposed to be ran. And it was deliberately to combat people who wanted to do exactly this on eBay. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that people had to suffer for that. I'm sorry that a good few people have to ruin everything for everybody else. The bad few have to just make everybody else get fucked. I completely understand that. Now, the big thing that happened here, and the big thing was regionals was happening next door, and some people were apparently crashing this party too. There was a big bunch of celebrities and influencers that were there. This is the big thing that I saw that was a huge difference between Baltimore and actually over in Florida. So the thing right here was a few actual names were dropped a couple of times over there, right? A few names. So apparently some of the big old line cutters were some of our Pokemon trainer Jess. That was somebody who was here. Let me see. I got a big old list of people that were sent to me right here with some proof for some of it, right? So the influencers that are going, we got Ageless Geeks, we got Poke Trainer Jess, Only Hollows, Tyranitarted, that name came up quite a bit, and Cloud TCG and GrabChew. Now, look, I don't know too much about any of this stuff. This is just somebody saying that stuff. The names that popped up several times was Only Hollows and Tyranitarted. Several people brought you up. In fact, it wasn't just VIPs and general admittance, which both groups mentioned you. The actual event staff brought y'all up and said y'all got kicked out for acting like a bunch of weirdos and trying to cut people, right? So, hey, ball's in your court. You do whatever the hell you want with that. I'm just reporting the news, baby. You got to get those views. You know, you should like that, right? Getting all those views? Yeah, that's what you guys like, huh? I'm just reporting it. Don't get mad at me. I'm just reporting it. Don't get mad at me. I'm just reporting it. Don't get mad at me. Ball's in your court. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But y'all's names came up a fuck ton. I'd probably do something about that if that's untrue, but I mean, the event staff brought y'all up. I'm just saying. You should probably say something to them. But the other thing that happened was there was definitely a couple other people that were called out for stuff. There was someone by the name of, let me find them. Let me find that stuff. So Charlie Collects is a pretty high-end collector. He has it right on his Instagram page, right? He was also called out for doing a bunch of stuff at both the Arita and the Saito one. He apparently was at both. I don't know if that's true or not, but he was called out for that stuff. One of the things he did admit to, though, was apparently he hired 9 people to actually stand in line and get signatures. There was 3 days where this stuff was happening. Apparently it was him, his wife, and a few other people. Whatever, do your thing. And people called him out for that, for having multiple people in line, to which case he's like, oh, that didn't happen. I only hired 5 people. And it's like, bro, like, his number was slightly off, but you still hired people. He was 100% right. You did hire people to do that stuff. And this is my problem, man. You got fake fucking people in this community that are just like, they won't admit what they're doing. They just won't admit that stuff straight up, point blank to your face, unless they're called out for it, because they know what they're kind of doing is a little shady. But once they're called out for it and there's really nothing they can do, they're like, what's the big deal? I'm just trying to do my thing. And they try to do that stuff. So day 1 apparently got 3 core cards signed, which is the ones that he wanted. Only my wife made it through day 2, which means he got some more signed. And day 3, the thing is he had multiple days lined up of 5 additional people there to get cards signed. So he possibly could have gotten a boatload of cards signed, just like we saw with Pokemon Network with all those Charizards. So this person was trying to sell some of these, 110%. You don't get 40, 50 cards signed and have like 3 core ones and be like, these ones have to get signed. Maybe he wanted to keep those. I don't know. But the other ones, that dude wanted to flip that stuff. He wanted to pull an eBay thing right here. It just blows my mind that people just did this stuff. The blatant mistreatment of each other, the abuse of VIP. Apparently some of the staff, the way they were running it the first day kind of sucked. But apparently the second day they got that shit back together. They were able to kick people out of line. And that's when some of the influencers were getting their shit kicked in. It kind of blows my mind that it came to this for an event, for things to get signed. This was the confusion. People at regionals that were next door saw some of these people getting kicked out, saw some of these people causing problems, saw some of these people doing things like that. So like I said, any of those influencers, I mean, it kind of fits the bill. Y'all are kind of the people that always come up when stuff like this happens. Didn't really have anything to say about it before. Nobody really was coming forward with that stuff. But I mean, the whole community is just straight up like, yeah, y'all did this stuff. And event staff is straight up coming for that stuff. I don't know. You guys handle that. Ball's in your court. Don't get mad at me. I'm just the guy over here with a microphone telling it as it is. You do you, though. Feel free. It's just, I can't believe it came to this. I can't fucking believe it happened. What else happened on this thing?
So I receive a message in my inbox saying, wow, you really use your kids to get extra signatures. And my answer is, fuck yeah. I paid for 3 VIP tickets. I drove my ass 12 hours with 3 kids in the back of my car with my wife. I paid for a hotel for 3 nights to be able to come here and get some signatures from Mitsuhiro Arita, one of the greatest illustrators of the hobby. I paid my dues. With that being said, I also stood in line for well over 12 hours overall. We actually stood in line today for another 3.5 hours because we had Fast Pass that we didn't get to use yesterday because people were abusing the system. So to sum it all up, if you have an issue, go ahead and DM me. Please DM me. So after you DM me, I can just tell you to go fuck off because I really don't care. At this point, me and my family did what we needed to do to be able to make it happen. So we got our signatures. And at the end of the day, yeah, this is my full-time business. You know what I mean? It's my full-time job. I do Pokemon full-time. So at the end of the day, like, to stretch these signatures out financially, it would make sense, right? It obviously makes sense. Why would I not? Why would anybody not take advantage of that in the sense of like the financial gain at the end of the day?
Oh yeah, why would I not take advantage of this stuff and use my family to get financial stuff? You know, all the things that I'm saying, all these harsh conditions that justify why I raised the price of that stuff. No water, standing in line for 12 hours. It was rough out there. It's basically like a battlefield. I basically went to Afghanistan with this shit. You know what I'm saying, G? You know what I'm saying? Man, this was rough out here. I subjected my kids to that. That's how crazy I wanted these signatures for. That's what I want to do. Making that money. Making that good money. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my kids in on that too. Gotta get my kids to help me make that money. Oh, it was so rough out there. It was so rough though, but man, I did what I had to do. Man, I'm sorry for putting you on blast like that, dude, but like, people were straight up telling me nobody was selling cards like that, and you put your story up like that. Did one better than DMing you, buddy. The other thing too is like I really kind of think the cons, both the Ocala and the one over in Baltimore, I definitely think both of them dropped the ball. They allowed multiple VIP passes to be purchased, which I kind of think is a little bullshit. I kind of feel like they should get one round, and if they get VIP, they want to blow their money, sure, whatever, go for it, right? But then on top of that, I think general admission should be able to go through next, and if there's additional time and space, maybe get a couple of VIP pass after that, and it should be a little bit more limited, a little bit more managed. I know that sucks, but this is what happens whenever it's not limited and managed like that, where people can't get those spots. Yes, people are gonna just, cry and complain that they can't get some spots. I 100% get that because you want to meet your favorite artist, and I understand. But this is the alternative. This is what happens. People abuse VIP. Influencers try to work their way all the way up to the front because it's worked for them everywhere else with like MetaZoo parties and Pokemon premieres and cons. It works everywhere else, so they're just going to try to do it here too. And then it's bad news for everybody. This whole thing could have been avoided possibly by the event staff just handling this a little bit better, but also this falls heavily on collectors and our community as a whole. Like, it's signed cards. Yes, it is supposed to be special. You're meeting someone who created the TCG for everybody, right? I've never understood where this comes from, where all of a sudden it has to always be about money. It always has to be. Yes, I get some things. I get vintage. I get signed further down the line. But everybody here, it just seems like we had 50% of people who were going here to meet the artist, which was the intention, right? Yes, they charged $30 for an autographed signature for it. But compared to what some of y'all fucks are selling it for, obviously it was worth it. Obviously, it was worth the fucking trip, am I right? I mean, just what happened to collecting, man? What happened to just collecting cards? What happened to 2018-19 mentality, man? And like I said, last year, you wouldn't have seen this with signatures. You would have seen people publicly shaming them, with people actively removing Mitsuhiro Arita's signatures, or at least talking about it to actually raise the value of their slab. So it's just so weird to see that. It's weird. It happened two places. That's why you're going to see a lot of confusion. You're going to see a lot of people say some stuff about this here in the near future. I think I'm kind of the first person to break it, so people are going to probably take what I say and break it apart and be like, well, actually, this. Look, you got to go look at what they do, man. You got to go look at their pages, and if they're sellers, if they have multiple one of these cards signed, just multiples on multiples, they may not move them today. They may not move them next week. They may not move them next month, but watch. Here soon, you're going to start seeing more and more and more of those popping up. It's already happening on eBay. You're going to see more people. I don't care what they say. Use your own judgment. Use your own mind. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm here to present you information from somebody who is an average collector. That's it. That's all this is. You do you. You find your own information that you want to. You don't have to like me. You don't have to watch my videos. You don't have to agree with what I say. I'm telling you this is someone who makes no money off of this. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't make anything, okay? This is not benefiting me. I don't have any signed cards on the line. I'm not selling any of these cards behind me, okay? I'm just letting you know as a collector. That's all I got. I appreciate it. Just, I would not be surprised if they didn't come back to the States after this. The artists getting just straight up bombarded like this. The poor management, I guess, from some of the staff a couple of days, and just how people acted, how this community showed their true colors. I doubt they come back, honestly. And it's been a while since they'd been here. See you later, virgins. Let me know how you feel in the comments below.